Today's recipe is lamb roast. Here I've got a leg of lamb. This is around 2 kilos or 4.4 pounds. This quantity works perfect for my family. Here I've got 1.5 onions that I've cut into halves, and these onions weigh around about 100 grams each. Here I've got salt. We have 1 teaspoon Garam Masala powder, 1 tablespoon of Kashmiri Red Chilli Powder. This is not a spicy red chili powder, but if you're using a normal red chili powder, you can use 1 teaspoon or as per taste. Here I've got 1.5 teaspoon of cumin powder, a teaspoon of coriander powder, and a teaspoon of turmeric powder. I've also washed this leg of lamb with turmeric powder. Here I've got 1 tablespoon of white vinegar, 1.5 tablespoons of garlic paste, 1 tablespoon of ginger paste, 2 tablespoons of yogurt, and I will be using around a 1/4 cup of olive oil. So let's start marinating this lamb leg. To marinate the lamb leg, I'm going to add all my spices to a bowl. Just mix all the spices together. And I will also be adding oil. This is olive oil. You can also use normal cooking oil. So it's up to you. This is around 1/4 cup of olive oil I'll be adding. Just give it a good stir. Now I'll add my yogurt. We're just using 2 tablespoons of yogurt because if you use more yogurt, there'll be more liquid in your roast. And what I'm doing here is I will be baking this lamb roast for a few hours. It might take me around 3.5 hours at around 375 degrees Fahrenheit. But first I will be marinating this roast overnight. Now I'm adding the vinegar. Give it a good stir. Add the garlic paste as well as your ginger paste. Now if you have baby potatoes or normal potatoes, that you can add just 1 hour before you turn the oven off, because potatoes generally take an hour to bake in the oven, and that we can add, if you want, you can add it to the roast while the roast is baking. Now this is my marinade ready. Now this I will apply to my lamb leg. Now I'll start pouring the marinade. I will just turn the piece around first because this is going to go on the other side. I'll just add some marinade here and just rub it in. Always try wearing a pair of kitchen gloves because you don't want your hands to get the spice color, and then it takes a while for the color to go to. So I'm just applying it generously here. I'll turn it around again and I will be pouring the marinade here. Continue rubbing it in between the gashes. I made gashes on this so that the marinade goes into the meat well. The gashes are made to the bone. You can see it's right here. So just marinate it on all sides. I've lined my baking dish with a foil so that when this lamb roast is baked and I need to remove it for plating, my original baking dish is left clean. Not fully clean, but it will be left clean. So, and here I will also add in the onions at this point of time. These onions will just add a little flavor. So now I've already applied the spices. Now at this point of time I'm going to cover it with the foil and I'll keep it in my fridge overnight. I will marinate this for a minimum of 12 hours. If you don't want to marinate for a minimum of 12 hours, you can also marinate it for a minimum of 4 to 6 hours. So let's start covering it. Make sure when you cover it with the foil, it should be covered all over. There should be no steam escaping from this dish. So what I'll do is I will be directly baking this in the oven after it's marinated for those many hours. So I'll just cover it with the foil, making sure that everything is well covered. Now this will go in my fridge, and then from the fridge I'll place it in the oven after 12 hours. Here I've cubed 3 medium-sized potatoes. The potatoes were around 100 grams each. Now what I'll do is I'll add little salt, and this potato now I'll add it to my roast, which has been baking since 2 hours, around 2 hours 15 minutes. So when 1 hour 15 minutes is left for the roast to be completely baked, that's when I add in my potatoes. Because potatoes take around an hour 10 minutes depending on the size of the potato, the type of the potato. So this is what I like doing. So these potatoes, I'll add it to my roast very carefully in the oven, because be mindful when you open the oven door, it's going to be very hot, and when you remove the foil from the dish, that will also be hot because steam might just escape. So we just have to keep a few factors in mind. So it's been a total of 3.5 hours since I baked this lamb leg. So now let's see if it's done. And be very careful. I took it out from the oven and let it rest like this for half an hour, and now I will just open it up, and it's still hot, so you need to carefully remove the foil, and let's check if everything is cooked here. So it took me 3.5 hours to bake this at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Every oven is different. It might take you a bit longer or shorter to bake this lamb leg. Carefully remove it, and you can see, first we'll check if the potato is cooked. You can see the potatoes look cooked. Now I'll just check if the meat is cooked. As soon as I insert the fork in it, it goes in smoothly. This means the meat of this lamb leg is cooked as well. And you can see the onions have cooked too. And just add the oil over it. You can also serve it with corn salad. I'll just cut a piece and show you how it looks. See how nicely the meat, you can see the meat is juicy and tender. Lamb roast is ready to serve. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Please click on the bell icon for notification of my latest video, and thank you for watching. Enjoy!